come along to our cabin in the wild, 'cause we're in for some good fishing, feeling easy, feeling free. Yes, we're in for some good fishing, Canada.
The Toronto Star's Great Salmon Hunt has grown in its brief 10-year history to become the largest fishing derby in the world. With more than 20,000 entrants and over $1 million in cash and prizes, it is an event that attracts entrants from all over Ontario and the Northeast United States. 200 charter boat operators running 2 charters a day, as well as thousands of private boats, ply the waters of Lake Ontario in hopes of catching a prize-winning salmon. Fish locating sonar units, electronic temperature probes, and electronic downriggers, once rarely seen on Canadian waters, are now standard equipment for thousands of anglers. Specially designed downrigger or mooching rods take the strain out of battling the powerhouse Chinook salmon that commonly average more than 20 pounds, with many fish exceeding 30 and even 40 pounds.
When I think of some good fishing spots, or some excellent fishing spots, I'm looking at northern Quebec, I'm looking at Vancouver area, looking at the Kawarthas in Ontario. You'd never suspect such a great fishery right under your nose. Downtown Toronto. Art?
That's right. I fished British Columbia. I fished New Brunswick for salmon. This is as good, if not better. I've caught 50 fish here in the morning.
In my opinion, from what we've done this morning,
Yeah.
this is a lot better than any of those spots that I
Well,
mentioned.
it is. As I said, it's civilized. You're here, Toronto shoreline, 15 minutes from the dock, and you're into really great fishing that you normally have to go 1,000 miles for.
Absolutely.
Where can you go get a 20-pound fish closer than 1,000 miles from the city?
There isn't. You can go right down Toronto. That's exactly
right.
where we are.
That's right, just out in front of Toronto's harbor. People just don't realize the resource in this lake. There's approximately 5.5 million fish stocked annually between the United States and Canada, and they circulate. They come around here too. Most of the fish you caught this morning are probably American fish.
Mm-hmm. They just go back and forth.
Yeah. They hang in front of the islands here most of the summer, and then they'll head back to spawn. But it's the best fishing anywhere. It just is.
There's one. There's one.
Oh, good.
Look at that. Look at that.
Good.
Look, he's going up on top.
Nice fish now. Oh, look at this.
What a fish.
Oh.
All right. So hooked.
Look at that fish.
There you go. Look at that. Look at the black mouth.
Wow. What a fish. I bet she's 20 pound plus, huh?
Sure, yeah, it's all of that.
It seems that every year the salmon of Lake Ontario are getting bigger, and soon, no doubt, the magic 50-pound barrier will be broken.
You know, it was 46 years ago today, on this very date, that this tiny little harbor was far from what it is today. As a matter of fact, all you could hear in the background was bombs and airplanes, and I guess a war going on. We're in Honolulu, Hawaii, and of course I'm referring to the great Pearl Harbor incident 46 years ago. But today we're here on a much happier note. We're here filming and covering the Great Toronto Salmon Hunt Champion of Champion Tournaments. Hi, I'm Angelo Viola from the Fishing Canada show, and yes, we're down in the South Pacific in pursuit of some marlin, in pursuit of some dolphin, tuna, you name it, we're after it. But more importantly, we're here with the Toronto Star's Champion of Champions from the Toronto Salmon Hunt, the Great Salmon Hunt. And I've got a couple of guys to introduce you to who are very influential in putting this package together. Gentlemen, how are you?
Good morning. How are you this morning?
Very good, thank you. How are you, John?
Good, Angelo.
We've got a couple of guys here I'd like you to meet. First of all, we've got Wayne Cowling from Best Western Hotels, who are a major force in putting this together, as I've heard. And no stranger here is John Powers, writer for the Toronto Star, and of course chairman of the Great Salmon Hunt. Guys, it's just a thrill to be down here with you. I'd like to ask you a couple of questions before we get into some fishing here. First of all, Wayne, what's the involvement that Best Western has with this whole setup?
Well, going back, I guess it was back in April when Terry Taggart and John and I got together and decided that we should award the winners and create a winner. And I think what we did was very simply get a hold of a chap by the name of Tony Pliska, manager of the American Airlines, and we decided that between all of us that we should export.
That's what I was going to ask you. Why Hawaii? Why Hawaii for a Canadian championship of salmon fishing, if you will?
Well, we wanted certainly to keep public interest with the salmon hunt, as well as keep the award-winning people involved in a single year. So consequently, it was quite natural to use the fall months or winter months to stretch out the salmon hunt.
That's for sure. And John, you know we can't do this type of fishing back home this type of year.
That's right, and I was prepared to make a big sacrifice and come down here and help oversee it.
I know, I heard on the way down here, you were complaining all the way down that you really didn't want to be down here. You'd rather be back home.
Somebody was lying.
That's for sure. John, the Toronto Star has been involved in this event for years. They were the originators of the derbies on the Great Lakes. They've certainly given the whole industry a shot in the arm, especially with this year's awards. Can you tell us a little bit about their involvement?
Well, it began in a very small way in 1978, and 88 is our 10th year. And I think at that time we had about 7,600 participants, and that has just grown and grown. Last year we had over 19,000, and our 10th anniversary year, I'll bet you we'll hit 25. The prizes keep getting bigger, and the salmon keep getting bigger.
No, we're talking 25,000 entrants in a derby, I guess is what it's called, and it's spread over a great body of water, of course, a large body of water, mostly Lake Ontario, and it lasts for how long, John?
Lasts for 8 weeks, and it's a heck of a shot to the economy because we've got over 200 charter boats out there, and plus what is spent on accommodation and meals and gas. We figure it's probably injecting something between 30 and 40 million into the economy for each run.
Well, that is just fantastic, and of course this is just the start of what I know is going to develop into in my opinion, one of the greatest events in Canadian fishing. One other thing, John, how can people get involved in the Great Salmon Hunt and hopefully in the future years be down here themselves taking in this?
Well, it's simply a matter of registering for it the day before at least the day before you fish, and putting your catches into the weigh station when you get them. And some of the people here in this boat have they caught a number this year over 30 pounds. We had one chap, as you know, get a 41 pounder. And I might ask or thank Wayne at this time for including the spouses, and all the wives are here, and this is just marvelous.
It's an incredible deal. there might be people out there sitting in their living rooms right now saying, yeah, well, that's great, you know, and you're down in Hawaii and having all this fun, and you've got some champions that won the Derby, but I'll never win. And I know that's not true, because it's just that easy to be down here, isn't it, John?
It is, and we have aboard some first-year salmon fishermen, and lo and behold, their dreams came true. So you never know.
You never know, exactly. It's something that you have to enter to win. It's like every other Derby, or even a lottery for that matter. But certainly the fishing skills and the amount of time that's spent on the water is not that great in regards to some of the other events that are available in fishing. You just have to buy a ticket, get out on a charter, or get out on your own boat, and catch yourself a big salmon. Now, Reno's on the other boat. What we've done is split the parties into two groups. We're on one boat with 6 of the champions, and there's another boat that's out there fishing already. Incidentally, if we can just cover that for a minute, we were a little late leaving this morning, John. What was the reasoning for that?
Well, we underestimated how low our opposition could stoop. I'm referring to the second boat, because we were short one lunch on each, and so they sneaked over and told the skipper, we're only short one lunch, we'd like one of yours. And so they got one of our lunches, and they beat it out here about 20 or 30 minutes before we did. So we're up against the Dirty Tricks gang.
You know, it doesn't matter where you fish, you've always got that competition. It's a little underhanded. What we're going to do right now...
Beautiful Hawaii, the jewel of the Pacific Ocean. Lush green tropical forests, mile upon mile of breathtaking scenic shorelines, beaches that meander like ribbons of sand connecting the soaring volcanic mountains to the simmering blue sea. This is truly a paradise where one can easily find a new meaning to the word inspiration. Let's take a moment and enjoy this truly magnificent tropical garden. Even the creatures here seem to show an extra appreciation for life itself. One can hardly blame them living in the jewel of the Pacific. A beautiful morning for a cruise in the South Pacific. We're off to determine a champion of champions of the Great Salmon Hunt. Here's the overall category winners of the 1987 Toronto Star Salmon Derby. The action is slow, with very few fish being caught, and the ones that are caught certainly aren't going to win anyone a trophy. But I doubt if any of the contestants mind. You see, today's competition is just for bragging rights with no monetary rewards. Each of these winners have already received their prize, a share of the $1 million purse in this trip to the Hawaiian Islands. Not a bad payoff for a summer of salmon fishing. Each angler here is fishing on his own and takes his or her turn at the next strike. Finally, a fish worth landing. Could this be the one that decides the overall champion? These anglers are accustomed to doing battle with Great Lakes salmon and trout, so landing this scrappy dolphin shouldn't be that difficult. Or is it? There it is. It certainly looks like this beautiful specimen might be the winner, but we don't have much time to sit around and gloat or we'll be late for weigh-in. A quick call to the other boat to see how they were doing, and we got the answer we were hoping for. No fish. But they're closer to home base than we are, so they'll be fishing while we're traveling. Inasmuch as the outing was enjoyable, the fishing was disappointing. Yes, there's nothing like fish in Canada. There's the competition. Looks like they're still fishing. They've got one on. Talk about last cast. It looks like it could be a nice one, but they haven't landed it yet. Yes, another nice fish. It's going to be close. Back now to weigh them in. A pair of identical twins. It's going to be close. Well, that one's just 18 pounds. Here we go. Could this be the big one? 18.9 pounds. The winner by less than a half a pound. Congratulations to Robert Tremblay, the champion of champions, and to all the other champions of this great Canadian event.
Hello, I'm Peter Waring, Fish and Wildlife Supervisor, Kenora District, Ministry of Natural Resources. Today I'd like to talk to you about live release. Over the last 5 or 6 years, we've been doing studies, Ministry of Natural Resources, that have demonstrated that we are harvesting too many of the traditionally preferred species, such as walleye, northern pike, and lake trout. Harvesting above the ability of the lakes to sustain good quality sport fish. I think it's easy to understand from a conservation point of view why live release is a good practice. It's an extremely good practice, and we believe it's the way to go in the future. But maybe not so much from a conservation point, more so from a quality angling point of view. If we can lower the harvests of those traditionally sought species, the quality of those fisheries, the recreational quality, the things such as the high catch rates, the opportunities to catch bigger fish, those characteristics will be preserved for the future. So live release is the way to go. When practicing live release, the key is to make the decision to put the fish back. That decision has to be made quickly. Once it is made, you have the fish beside the boat. You want to make sure that you handle it with a great deal of respect. You do not handle the protective slime a lot, because that's the covering that protects the fish from bacterial diseases, infections, that sort of thing. You also want to make sure that you don't physically handle it in a rough manner. You don't want to injure the soft tissue, such as the gills, and certainly do not want to injure the eyes. So take the fish out very, very carefully and quickly. Get the picture if that's what you want to do, and get that fish back in the water.
Come along to our cabin in the wild, 'cause we're in for some good fishing. Feeling easy, feeling free. Yes, we're in for Bye.